Everybody, y'all come on in the room. Come on in the room. Hey, this is going to be a great show. Great show. This has been a show that I have been tossing around in my head for a minute now because I didn't know how the people were going to receive it. So I'm going to put it out there anyway. So, I am going to put this out here anyway. Let me turn this phone off because I don't want to be disturbed. And I want you guys to get this because this is a topic. And today's topic is, I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. This is a question, or actually it's a statement that the majority of people have. They just don't believe it. We're in a world and a society now to where we are in information overload. And in information overload, the question for me and a lot of marketers or online business coaches, or just not even online business coaches, just coaches in general, entrepreneurs and business owners in general, we are in a space and time in our society to where nothing out there can't be fact-checked or verified. Even me. Now, and I understand and I get it. A lot of people, thank you for joining and tuning in. A lot of people, everybody has questions. And that's a good thing that everybody has questions. And people want to know just what is going on. But you can Google anything today. This is not like the 80s, the 90s, or even the early 2000s where information was really hard to get a hold of. I mean, anything that's out there, ladies and gentlemen, anything that's out there, it's out there. And you can fact check and find out anything right now. So even myself, right now, if you're watching the show, if you're tuning into this podcast right now, Google Robert D as in David, well, that's not my middle name, but D as in David, Muhammad, Muhammad, just like you spelled Ali. And you can see it right here in the bottom of the ticker tape, or Robert D. Muhammad. So when you Google that, you can pull up any and everything that I have ever done. You can fact check that. So when I put out information, not just myself, but when any social media influencer put out information, Google that. I remember coming up in the during the times of the Nation of Islam, there was always a thing that Minister Farrakhan always said. Don't take my word for it. Go back and research it for yourself. Now, when you go back and research for yourself, the information that you come across in your research should verify, and not just verify, it should validate everything that people like myself, there are a whole lot of hosts of others that are giving you information. It should validate and verify. Now you have facts, and then you have actual facts. And the actual facts are the undisputed facts that nobody can dispute anything that we tell you. So why are we still dealing with people that don't believe what the information that we put out? It just sounds too good to be true. Why does it sound too good to be true? I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to give you the top 5 reasons, which hopefully we can get to 5 in this next time frame, so I can get, because I'm going to be dumping you a whole lot of information out there that you never knew was even possible. And it's going to sound fantastic. It's going to sound so outrageous. You're going to be like, I just don't believe it. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the one thing that I want to lay on your spirit right now. And I want you guys to hear me well. Let me get my mic right up here to me. The one thing that I want you guys to know, matter of fact, let me put it over here. The one thing that I want you guys to know is that the system was designed for you not to believe the truth, but to believe a lie. What if I can get you to believing in Santa Claus and not believing? See, the story is so fantastic. And it's funny because now this happened strictly by accident. This is not planned. It's not in my script, not in my notes. But if I can get the majority of the world to believe in this man that's traveling all over the world on this sleigh by 12 reindeer, and he's coming down people's chimney, which is physically, anatomically impossible for one. Great story, though. Great child story. But, and I'm taking you guys somewhere. Thank you for tuning into the show. I'm taking you somewhere. If I can get everybody believing into this fat guy that's coming from the North Pole all over the world, dropping off presents that everybody has ever asked for, that's a great story. So as it is in the world of business. The system and the design, there's a book that's out there that Rockefeller wrote, and Rockefeller said this: I am not in the business of making business owners. I am in the business of making employees. Now, keep this in mind. This is the same man that started the Board of Education. Somebody who makes a statement like that says, I am in the business of making employees, not business owners or entrepreneurs. How do you think, or what do you think was the framework behind the educational system that we have all grew up in and is still being implemented today? And I'm going to draw you some pictures and scenarios of how this is actually true. Not possible, but how it is true. Think. You get up, you go to school at, most of us get up, go to school 7 o'clock, and we're there from 7 to 3. Some cities and states, because they have gotten larger and more schools, some actually have time frames. I know when I was in Florida, they had shifts because some of the students can go to school from 9 to 5 because there was entirely too many students for the school busing system to get everybody there. So you can go from 7 to 3, 8 to 4, 9 to 5. Some of these children don't even get home till 6 o'clock. But think about that now. What are the shifts for you going to work? Now, amount of times in the shift has changed around. People now go from 6 to 2, or they work in that 10-hour shift from 6 to 4. But these are the same times that you are scheduled to go to work. Think about that. Let that marinate in your spirit. Now, here's something else, how the school system is tied into your working system. You get a break every 2 hours. You change classes. See what I'm saying? At work, you get a break. They can work you 2 hours. They're not going to give you a break every hour. So the shift, how it works in the work system, labor force, you get a break every 2 hours, 10 minutes. Then in the school system, you get to change classes every hour, and you got what? 10 minutes to get to your next class. You get a lunch break at 11:30. Get a lunch break at work at 11:30. 30 minutes to eat at lunch and school, 30 minutes to eat on your job. The systems are the same. 8 hours of school, 8 hours on the job. But now, in the workforce, that has changed now to where now we getting 10 hours out of you. We want to work you harder than we educate you. Look at that. Now that you have gotten the basic education, I'm going to work you 10, 12 hours. I'm going to get more work out of you than I want to educate you. So when Rockefeller said we are in the business of creating employees, this is the system, ladies and gentlemen. This is the system. You get a school vacation. You get a job vacation. You're off for certain holidays in school. You off for certain holidays at work. Think about this. Now, so when you have somebody who has a system that's created that way, and overall, the information of you being successful has been withheld, or it has been straight out hidden. It's either been withheld or hidden from you. So when you have influencers or people or business coaches like myself that's telling you, yes, you can write off your vehicle. See, they didn't teach you that in school. When I was going through school, we had a class that was called consumer math. Consumer math taught you how to balance your checkbook, how to do certain things as far as it relates. It was actual real skills that you can apply to in life. Consumer math was removed from the curriculum in high school. So now the average person don't even know how to balance the checkbook. So because the influx or the introduction of debit cards was brought into. In fact, that is something that the banking system don't even want you to know how to balance your checkbook. They don't want you to know how much money you have in there. So the average person, you just guesstimate on many times that you swipe that card and you constantly checking over here for your balance. Consumer math completely removed. So when people say, so when you tell them, hey, look, man, you can write off your vehicle. It used to be where you can write off 100% of the value of your vehicle. Now, the laws have changed a little bit to where now you can only write off 80% of the value of your vehicle. I wonder if people can hear me. Some are coming in and logging off, which you can catch this on the replay. It's just as good on the replay. Because again, the information is still the same. The information is still going to be the same, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just going to pull this up to verify that everything is here. So this is what we do. All right. So you can write off up to 80% now under the new law. You can write off up to 80%. Now, what I coach my clients into understanding is the other 20%. The other 20% is your mileage. The other 20% is your mileage, or your gas. 20% of that is your gas. The 20% is your tire rotations. See, most people didn't even know. The average person did not know that you can write off your tires being rotated. Your purchasing of tires. I just saw a video, a post earlier today, to where one of my people that I know, she has a business, and she said, "Wow, all of these sales going on, and there are no sales on tires." See, this is why we plug you in with this information, because she could have written off the purchase of her tires, and she doesn't know that. And she's a business owner. I come across a lot of people who don't even know, and they've been in business for years, and they still do not know that they can write off 80%, now 80% under the new law, 80% of the value of their vehicle. I come across barbers and stylists and beauticians that don't even know that they can write off all of their clippers, all of their aprons, all of the products that they buy. They can even write off of how much booth space they are charged on their chairs. You can get all of that money back. You will be surprised the number of people that don't even, did you know that you can write off your birthday? Your birthday. We just came through one of the major holidays in the country, Thanksgiving. And with this information that most people don't believe, you could have written off Thanksgiving. All that money you spent on Thanksgiving, the turkey, the dressing, the cranberry sauce, the potato salad, the deviled eggs, the beans, greens, tomatoes, all of that, you could have wrote all of that off. The average person does not know that. And when we drop this information to you, that's why I'm your favorite plug. I plug you in with the information that you need so you can write off all of Thanksgiving. Your vacations, they are tax deductible when you have the information. Again, go all the way back to what Rockefeller said. J.D. Rockefeller, the first one, the man that implemented the educational system, he said, and I quote, I'm going to tell you this again. Go back and read the book. Anything that's out there, ladies and gentlemen, it's public information, it's public record. So fact check this. J.D. Rockefeller said, I am not in the habit of creating business owners or creating people to have wealth. I am creating employees. So the founder and the creator of the educational system in the United States of America, he simply just told you, I don't want y'all to be business owners and millionaires and billionaires like me. I want y'all to work for me. So when you have a person that's the founder of the educational system tell you he'd rather you be an employee, of course, ladies and gentlemen, they withhold and hide information from you. This is why you didn't know that you can write off your whole entire mortgage. This is how you didn't know that even down to your utilities, you can have them written off. Your clothes, all of this stuff that you spend money on that's constantly being shelled out. Understand the system that we're in. Understand this is how all of us were raised. The system always wants you to spend money and tell the rest of the world how great it is to live in America, in the world of the free and of abundance. But they leave out the part to where they want you to be, you can be anything that you want to be. That's the dream. You can do and go and be everything that you want to be. How can you when the information is not given to you? And then when it is given to you by people like myself or others, there are hundreds of thousands of social media influencers and coaches out here on the interweb. But it sounds so fantastic, it just can't be true. How can I write off my car. Let's just say, ladies and gentlemen, listen, when you watch it, the game has been sweet. The game is sweet. When you have the information, the game is sweet. There is George Bush Jr. George Bush Jr. put a law into effect when he was the president 4 cycles ago. So this is the son that President Obama beat, right? George Bush Jr. put this law in. Any vehicle that is 6,000 pounds or more is a 100% write-off. That was the original one. That law was into effect all the way up until Joe Biden became the president this last cycle. And then even still, the law wasn't removed. They decreased it to 80% from 100%. But that sounds so fantastic. See, before Biden, you can write off 100%. So if you bought, now here's the thing, and this is the thing that people didn't get. The vehicle had to be 6,000 pounds or more. So when you start looking at wealthy people and how they move and how they travel, all of these yachts, these big super boats, these private jets are all 100% tax deductible up until Joe Biden got in office. The Maybachs, the Bentleys, the Rolls Royce, the Hummers, the Suburbans, the Yukons, the Denali's, all of these vehicles that we see wealthy people driving, they weren't buying these for the style and the profile like Ric Flair. They bought them because they was 100% write-offs. But you didn't know that. See, here's the thinking between bosses and employees. Bosses and employees. Because the educational system had already programmed us, my credit is good enough, I'm going to buy a Mercedes-Benz. Did you know last year, 2022, and this is not a race thing or a color thing, don't go there, think deeper. Black America bought more Mercedes-Benzes than any other people on the planet. Black America. Listen to this now. Black America, and you can Google this. If you don't believe it, Google it. I encourage everybody to fact check me. Black America bought more Mercedes-Benz than any other people on the planet. A planet that has almost 7 billion people on it. Black America and America only bought more Mercedes-Benz. But here is the catch. And when you read that article, you will see this. They were all 300 series Benz. So it was a Mercedes-Benz 300 and under that missed the weight qualifications in order for it to be a free vehicle. You see how the system, when you don't see, yes, they make it to where the information that's available, because it's available to all. But if you don't know where to start, well, first you got to get past the fact of believing it or not. See, you got to get past that first. Do I believe that? Or that just sounds like fantastic foolishness. That sounds so outrageous that, yes, Miss Della, knowledge is power. But now that the information is out there, so now do I believe it? And then when you get to the point that says that's at least plausible, it's at least plausible. But now, where do I go to find that information? How can I write off my vehicle of 6,000 pounds at 100% write off? Where do I go and get that information at? Well, first, logically, the only place that you can do any write-offs and deductions is on your tax forms. So now you got to find the right tax form. Now, originally, and a lot of us in America have always filled out, we even went back to time when we was in high school, 16 years old, we used to fill out that 1040 EZ form because it was easy to fill out. It's just plug and play. That's just it. Then you go from the 1040 easy to just the regular 1040A. When you become an adult, you know, you have a mortgage and you got a bank account and a savings and you might got a 401k plan. You just plug in information. These are just, that's anything that a robot. Auntie in the hood been doing taxes ever since, but all she is doing is taking your W-2 and plugging that information on the W-2 onto your 1040A form. That's it. And she might have a little bit of knowledge of, did you buy any work boots? She knows that. Anybody who takes that little 8-week H&R Block class has this information. That's just basic general information. But then, now we're in the world of the internet. Google, how can I write off my vehicle as a tax deduction? 80%. How can I write that off? And boom, it's going to tell you. How can I write off my birthday? Boom. Google that. It's going to tell you. How can I write off my vacation? Boom. It's going to tell you. How can I write off my utilities, my mortgage? How can I write my house off? It's going to tell you. How can I write off my meals and my groceries? See, once you get past the belief, then you start asking yourself the right questions. And when you start asking the right questions, then the information will be given to you. Now, people like myself, and there are a whole host of others, we drop this information to y'all for free. Because once you start living, now you can live life how you want to. Now, is there some work required in order for you to really live the American dream? Well, it's not even the American dream anymore. Once you get the information, then it's become the American lifestyle. Wealthy people have been doing this for years, ever since 1893. Ever since 1893, with your Rothschild, your Rockefellers, your Rothschilds, your Vanderbilts, your Morgans, the J.P. Morgans of the world, the Chase of the world. See, and that's a funny story. See, a lot of people got off into the movie Titanic because of the romance. But y'all should go back and relook at that movie, because there was a few families that wasn't in agreement with the new financial structure of the United States. Some of them, the ones that didn't agree, got on that boat. And the ones that were in agreement, all of a sudden, magically missed the boat. See, it wasn't all about Leonardo DiCaprio standing out there on the front of the boat with his arms out, and they knew they were going on a sinking ship. That's why the Titanic, come on now. See, they got the magic trick. It's an old saying that said, don't let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. See, the magic trick was into the left hand, and some of them wealthy people got on that boat and the boat sank. But the ones who missed the boat became the official Bilderberg groups in the world. They run the financial sector all over the world. The ones who did not get on the boat. This is not conspiracy. This is actual fact. This is why I tell you, go back and Google us. The actual system that J.D. Rockefeller put in is called the waterfall method. A lot of people now on social media are talking about trust and trust funds. J.D. Rockefeller was the one that created how you can have forever money. The true term, generational wealth. A lot of people, and a lot of folks out here on social media throw that word out there, generational wealth, passive income. They don't know. Because if somebody is talking to you about generational wealth and they don't have a trust fund or a trust in place, they don't know nothing about generational wealth. Generational wealth is not saving your money and putting it in a bank somewhere. That's not generational wealth. Generational wealth is untouchable, untaxable money for children, grandchildren that you haven't even seen or will see 10 to 20 years down your lineage. J.D. Rockefeller put a program, a system in place called a waterfall method on creating that trust fund. Now listen to this, how strict the instructions were. And we live in a time frame like this to where I don't want to, my children can grow up and be whatever they want to be. I let them have their own mind. That's why a lot of us are still poor. Because the blind couldn't lead the blind. So we just gonna let our children grow up and wing it and hope that they get it right. Listen, let me tell you something. The waterfall method is this. J.D. Rockefeller created an insurance policy. Now, at that time, $400,000 was a lot of money. At that time, hey, we're talking 1893. $400,000 was a lot of money. Today, that would be equivalent of 400 million. I'm just gonna throw some numbers out there. Anyway, he created his insurance policy for $400,000 on himself, and with that insurance policy, it was a policy to where he could borrow money against his own life. Now, I'm going to tie in something real quick. Those papers that you get every month that's talking about your Social Security and telling you how much you can get at this age, and then you can get full benefits at that age. All of this is laid out in the plan. So here we go. You get this insurance policy, and we're going to open it up at $400,000. Now, I'm going to open it. This insurance policy is a cash policy to where I can borrow money off of it. Now, we all know and agree, it don't take $400,000 to stick you in the dirt. It don't even take $10,000. I mean, well, probably about 10 to 12, and that's with a nice casket and a brand new suit. But it's gonna take about 10 to 12 grand. So why would you have an insurance policy of $400,000? Now we're talking about 1893, and in today's model, the general thumb is $1 million life insurance policy. Now it definitely don't take you $1 million to stick you in the dirt. No, even if you got cremated, you're not even gonna touch 20,000. So where does the other 980 million go to if you just took 20,000 to get buried? It's the insurance policy. Now, here's the waterfall. Every child J.D. Rockefeller had such strict instructions. He made every child of his, every family member, get the same dollar amount insurance policy. Everybody, all of his sons, everybody, the sons, the wives, the children, the grandchildren, everybody had a $400,000 insurance policy. Everybody. To the tune that it was worth at that time $4.4 billion. Hold up. Because when you read that book, knowledge is power and information is out there. And he gave you the plan on how to do this. Now, in 1893, he became the richest family. They were the richest family in the entire world. Now, here's what's also attached to those strict instructions, to where nobody had a choice into this. But every family member had access to this money. You can borrow money. Don't borrow it from a bank. Borrow it from the insurance policy, the trust. Now, this is what you have to do in order to set this particular type of model up. The beneficiary of your insurance policy is not your spouse or your children. No. Do not make your wife or husband the beneficiary of your insurance policy. You will be broke again. Here's why. Because when you leave a person as the beneficiary to your insurance policy, that person will now be charged or taxed an inheritance tax, that's a thing. Look it up. I'm giving y'all some jewels. When you leave money, a house, or anything to a person, you are now making that person, the living person, responsible for all of the taxes on everything that you just gave them. Do not, when my mother passes, do not leave me no house. No. Do not leave me anything that the IRS can put a dollar value on it. Because now I got to pay taxes on it, and it's called an inheritance tax. Anything that you inherit from another person, you are now going to have to pay taxes on it. If your mama, and see some people be hooping and hollering, ooh, my mama left me a house. Guess what? Your mama also left you any back old taxes on that house and any future taxes on that house, because it's an inheritance tax. Look that up. See, auntie in the hood don't know about those laws. If your parents were to have any money in the bank and you have passed away and now you've become the executive of their estate and you going in and you think that you're finna get all that guap out the bank, guess what? Now the bank, which is run by the FDIC, which is the federal government, is now going to knock your block clean off. So if you thought you was going to get 10,000, oh, no. We have to get our taxes first, and then you will get what's left. But when you set this up in a trust, you make the trust the beneficiary. See? That's the game. They didn't teach us that in school. See, I was just fortunate enough to get this information because I was blessed to be around some wealthy people, and whatever they liked about me, I'm glad they did, because they got me to open up the real eye, and I became woke. See, once I became woke and saw how it really is, I just started implementing. Now, me, I wasn't one of those people that just questioned anything, which I did question it. No, I didn't. I was going to tell y'all a story. I ain't questioned nothing. Once I got the game, I took the ball and ran with it. I was going to worry about whether it was right or wrong later. I at least had to see first. Because nothing beats a failure except a what? A try. I was going to wait first to see if it was going to fall apart first. But I was going to put everything into practice and into work. So when they said set up a insurance policy, well, hey, look, Robert, what you want to do is you want to open up an insurance policy. Put $1 million on your head. Ooh, man, how much that's going to cost a month? Come to find out, $1 million life insurance policy is going to run you about $1,147 a month. Woo, I ain't got that. But let me see what I can work with on a $50,000 policy. Now, here's the law. Here's the free game. There is no limit, no regulation on how many life insurance policies you can have. There is no law that says you can only have one life insurance policy. Oh, no. Don't believe that. You can have as many as you want. So now here's the funny part. And what I did, I tricked myself, and then I learned how to adjust that. So what I did was I set up 4 $50,000 life insurance policies. Now, again, 4 times 50, 4 times 5, that's 20. That's $200,000 total life insurance policy. Just to give y'all the rundown. This was in the beginning. Because a $50,000 life insurance policy was only running me $17 a month for each one. $17 and some change. So I was like, well, maybe if I marry all of these together, because we're going to round it up and say 18. 18 times 4 is still less than $100 a month in insurance premiums. And I got $200K on my head. Again, it don't take $200K to stick me in the dirt. But then I said, well, if I can afford $100 a month on 4 life insurance policies, let me find a way to start making some money to where, and I created this course called Other People's Money. Other people, because I created products and I created a service to where now the money that I make pays and affords my lifestyle. See what I'm saying? So I created a product, or the same thing for you, create a product or a service like the Waltons. Walmart pays for the Waltons lifestyle. Anybody who shops there. Yes. Other people are paying for their lifestyles. But I don't care if you're Bill Gates, Elon Musk. Anytime you buy something off Amazon, you are paying for Jeff Bezos' lifestyle. So why can't you create a product or a service, make money from that, and then pay for the lifestyle that you see? We don't think like that. First thing that we think of is you got to get a job. Now, the job is not paying for your lifestyle. The job is paying your debts. The job is paying your boss's lifestyle. See? It's a difference. Because when you are an employee, you are not the boss. You're being paid what somebody says you are worth. You're working the times that they tell you to work. And then you have to turn around and ask, can you go on vacation? You have to ask, can you go to your child's recital? Some cases, some jobs, you got to ask, can you go to the bathroom? And then you got to wait until somebody relieves you off of that line so you can go to the... Now, don't that sound silly now when you really think about how the system is structured and designed? School is the same way. You got to raise your hand to go to the bathroom. Again, ladies and gentlemen, so now let's get back to the waterfall method. So Rockefeller had put in place strict instructions. Every family member gets the same life insurance policy and make the Rockefeller Trust the beneficiary. So if anything happens to anybody, the trust will get all of the money. So whatever the case, well, I just got this insurance policy, but I want to go buy a brand new house. Don't go to the bank. Go to the trust. The trust, because it's so many benefits under having a trust. One, that money is non-taxable. Two, there's no interest on it. If you go to the bank and borrow money, you got to pay interest because the bank is a business itself. This is why they pay interest. They charge you interest. But when you go to your trust, you will hear the term BYOB, be your own bank. This is how you become your own bank, through the trust. So many people have been hitting me over the past week because I put posts up about this trust and how to structure and get that trust put into place. And this is the game, because it came from the man who is one of the wealthiest families in the world, the Rockefellers. So it's true because he's the one to do it. Everybody's heard about the Rockefellers. And I ain't talking about Jay-Z and Dame Dash. I'm talking about the real Rockefellers. Everybody's heard about J.P. Morgan. Everybody's heard about Chase. Everybody's heard about Ford. These are the wealthy families, the Ray Krocs, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates. All of these people are wealthy families. When you hit that level, let me stay on script. So the strict instructions were to make the trust the beneficiary. So if anything happens to anybody, the trust will get all of that money. So when you apply that to today's time, and you put $1 million on your head, your trust fund just inherited $1 million. Now, you can also leave in your instructions how that money is to be dispersed. This is why when you're also creating and setting up your trust fund, you want to have a lawyer set this up to where it'll be strict instructions. If anything was happening to me, my daughters right now are instant millionaires. Am I a millionaire? I'm only worth that much. But I'm worth that much dead. It's the same game that the Social Security Department plays. This is how they're able to equate how much your check is on Social Security. Did you know that every person born in the United States has a $5 million surety bond attached to you? But you don't get access to that money. Why? Because when you're issued a birth certificate and when you're issued a Social Security card, your parents unknowingly signed over that $5 million to the United States government in order for you to get a Social Security card and a birth certificate. See, information. I've spoken about this on another podcast, and I'm going to wrap this up. There's 3 documents in your possession right now where your name is in all caps. Your birth certificate is 1, your Social Security number is 2, and the third one, you get it when you turn 16, and that's your driver's license and your passport. But your driver's license means nothing outside of the United States of America. This is why you have to get a passport when you leave the country. Your driver's license means absolutely nothing. We'll get to that but later. But on all 4 of those documents, 3 primarily, because the average person don't have a passport, but those three documents are where your name is in all caps. And the reason why it's in all caps, but you were taught in school to only capitalize the first letter of your name, and everything else is lowercase, which hence turns over the governing rights of yourself to the United States. So basically what our parents did when they got a social security number and a birth certificate, they basically said that the government is taking care of us. That was by design. And they paying you social security with money that was already owed to you. This is why every time they go to war, they borrow money against the social security funds. This is why they've been talking about for the past 30 years that the social security is in trouble. That's because the government keeps borrowing money from it. Now, when you look at almost 400 million people live in this country. Just look at that. 400 million times 5 million. That's into another thing. Read the waterfall method that was created by J.D. Rockefeller. He has told everybody how to be not just multiple millionaires, but how to set up legacy money for the family. Now, every time someone in your line, your lineage, your family is, even when they hear that somebody is pregnant, it needs to be an insurance policy created and open under that unborn child's name. They don't even have to be in the world. Because, again, listen at the laws. This is why they've been fighting abortion. Oh, this thing is deep, y'all. At the time of conception is life. And if they move the time from conception to the time of first breath, that means you can't put insurance on the unborn. You got to wait till they are alive. This is why. See, it's so much deeper than what people think. And y'all thinking it's talking about women's rights. No, this is all about the money, the money, the cream. Don't fall for the banana and tailpipe. Now listen. All right. So you put this insurance policy in place. You leave strict instructions for every descendant, not one. Every descendant has to make the trust fund the beneficiary. Now, in doing so, this also makes it legal that none of your descendants can adjudicate. That means nobody in your line can become the prodigal son and say, hey, look, I want my money. I don't want to wait. I want all of mine. There is not a judge in America that can go against that trust fund. You know, the Bible also says about a fool and his money will soon part. You don't want to leave $1 million to somebody who's not accustomed to having $1 million. Ooh. They'll have if you got a daughter, they're going to have every man in the state at them. My daughters will not be sitting up at the house and some boy is laying up playing video games all day and he ain't doing nothing productive. My daughters are not going to be in the mind frame of, I don't have to work now. I'm rich. We don't raise no silver spoon babies around here. Have you noticed? Listen, look at this. Regardless of what you think about Donald Trump, irrelevant. Where does his children work? With the exception of one. They all work for the family business. Look at that. Look at that. Where does all of the Walton children work? For Walmart Corporation. Anybody ever heard of the DeVos and I can't think of the other family, but the creators of Amway? Amway has been around Amway been around a long time. But the children work for Amway. It's not, see, listen, we got to get out of the mind frame of letting our children choose what they want to do. Now, my daughter, for instance, she wants to be a political science major. No problem. No problem. But bring that under the RDM business group. Bring that under this umbrella. So if you want to have your own law practice in politicals under, because I'm hoping that she wants to be a political lawyer, but if that's the case, then bring that firm under this RDM business group umbrella, because this is what I have been working and sacrificing for. So you don't have to go out and put in an application after you've gotten all of that good education. Why do we keep cutting off our children at the knees before they even get started? Oh, you will beat the paint off of them for not going to school, not getting their school lesson. But then we send them right on out there in the world to work for somebody else. We're not even giving them a fair shake. We just keeping the cycle going over and over and over again. Why is that? Because our parents didn't believe the information that was coming out too. And then sooner or later, you just stop even listening to people who has the information. So you will see everybody starting to pass you by. Man, I have plenty of people. Man, how you do that? How I do it? Remember when I was giving y'all this free game and y'all laughed at me? Remember when I was telling you how to stop spending your money at the club and stop spending your money on Jordans and stop walking around here with a $5,000 Louis Vuitton bag, but you only got $100 in it? I would rather have a $5,000. I would rather have a bag with a plastic bag with $5,000 in it than to have a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci bag with only $100. I would, if I'm going to spend that money on a Mercedes Benz, I'm going to spend that money on a 600 series. I'm going to get the big boy. Then I can write it all off. But to the average person, they'll look like you're showing out. See, instead of me spending all my money on Jordans and these jeans that's ripped up, I'm going to spend my money on what I can get written off. Instead of me flossing, trying to eat at Ruth Chris, and now listen at this. You have to work an entire year to go on vacation for 5 days. Don't count Saturday and Sunday. You all Saturday and Sunday anyway. So that week they give you is only 5 days. But listen how we do. This is how the trick comes. The average person, and you can Google this, the average person only go on vacation for 3 to 4, depending on how they work on the job. All right. If you're working an average 10-hour-a-week job, you're working Monday through Thursday, 10 hours a week, that's 40 hours. So you off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is how we tricked ourselves. We're going to go on vacation Wednesday. We're going to take Wednesday and Thursday, 2 vacation days, because we off Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So we trick ourselves and say we on 5 days. And we're going to come back to work the following Monday. But we still got 3 vacation days left. So most of the time what happens is, just like last week, Black Friday, If you had to work Black Friday, you took off Black Friday vacation day. So now you got 2 vacation days left. Then you're going to take another one off for Christmas, and then you'll take that last remaining one off as either your birthday or that's your sick day in the hole. See how the system is designed? We trick ourselves. When you stop listening to so much information, when you stop listening to information, we program our own selves. Then we become satisfied. Then we have people that's in our families or our loved ones say, you ought not to leave that good job. You ought to just stay on that job. Forget about working for yourself. Y'all listening to Muhammad talk about them trust funds and stuff. You ain't got no, why you don't have life insurance anyway? Did you know millionaires and billionaires are reversed as opposed to workers? Workers have health insurance and no life insurance. Wealthy people don't have health insurance, but they have life insurance. Why is that? If that doesn't tell you automatically that the money is the key. See, we don't, as a worker, we don't have the money because to go to the doctors constantly all the time. So we rely on health insurance and then we live off that copay. Now think about this. This is how the game is being rigged and how important insurance is. Because now it is mandated law that you have to have health insurance. Now, if you got Blue Cross Blue Shield family plan, you're paying $180 every paycheck. Ask yourself, how many times have you gone to the doctor in the past year? So where does all that money go? Now, reverse that and imagine you paying that $180 instead of every paycheck a month for your trust fund life insurance policy. And then if you do need to go to the doctor or have to have some type of major surgery, guess what? You can borrow the money from the insurance policy, your trust fund, and pay for your surgery cash, and you don't owe nobody. See, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I wish I could keep going with this, but I can't. I got to get to some other things. But hey, you guys, if you want to learn this information, all you have to do is, I prefer that you email me instead of call me, but I'm going to give you both numbers because my scheduling has gotten so big now. But you can definitely send it out to Robert. You can see the email address right there coming across the ticker tape. Robert at rdmonline.com. Send me that email and say, hey, I want to know more. I want to know how to set this trust fund up. I need to know how to generate real generational wealth and not a savings account for my legacy. We already have everything in place. People who've taken my course, they already can vouch and know how we set this up. We have everybody that you need. We have the IRS tax professional, not a tax preparer. Two different things. That's not in tech. We have a tax professional that we work with, and we also have an insurance firm, the Denali Wealth Group, that we push the clients to go out and use them, and he can give you all of this information. Even if you don't want to use my people, you can get the answers and take it to your people and make sure that your people set it up correctly. Because if not, see, that's something else too. A lot of people they'll half-ass do the work. You can't half-step with this, and it's designed that way. And most people will lead you to believe that it's so much work involved. People just get tired and walk away from it. That's what they want you to do. But I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that there's enough money out here for all of us to eat and eat well. And enough money out here for all of our families to eat. I am RD Muhammad right here at Plugged In. plugging you in with the information that you need in order to help you be more successful. And that's why I'm your favorite plug. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to give it to you raw and uncut. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys. Woo! Hold up. I got to do this thing right, because we're going to go out and Peace.